Do you know what? It can be really tough when we are running a business and we're on our own. And loads of us have this. Loads of us have this quite insular business. And even in the direct selling industry, where you might have a team above you or a leader above you, a company above you, that you can get the support and the motivation and things from, it still can be very, very lonely. It can be very isolating and difficult. We can lose our mojo. We can get down. We can struggle in our business. And in this podcast, I want to cover some of the things that that we can come up against when we're running our business, and how we can keep our mojo going. And when we lose our mojo, it can be super tough to do the things that we need to do to keep our business going. And I would say everybody who runs a business or runs a direct selling, network marketing, little business of their own, side hustle, doing it for a bit of fun, will always come through bad times. There will be times when things aren't going the way that you think they should, or the way that you'd hoped they should. There will be times when you are not getting the sales that you want, where you miss targets and goals, where you don't achieve that promotion or trip or whatever it might be. And it's okay, and it's normal. Business is not a straight line all the way to the top to success. It really isn't. And I don't think it is for anybody. Even those that you think are having all this success, they won't have it all the time. It's perfectly normal to have dips where you don't make as many sales. It's perfectly normal to lose titles. I lost my mojo, and I lose my mojo on a regular basis. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you how you can help get it back, or maybe even out the lumps and bumps in your business so that it's not quite as rocky, and the drops and the downs that you suffer aren't quite as big as they would once have been. So let me tell you a story. So back when I was in direct sales, because I was in direct sales, for those of you that don't know me, for 17 years. I started back in 2005 when my kids were tiny, and I worked my way to the top of the company, getting the holidays, achieving big bonuses, absolutely loving what I was doing, built a big team, and yeah, had a whale of a time. But it wasn't plain sailing. There were times when it had ups and downs. There were times, and I told my Direct Selling Success Facebook group this week, there was a time when I lost 9 leaders in a year, dropped right back down to the first leader level in my company, and had to work my way all the way back up again. That was probably the worst. That was probably the biggest mojo breaker that I had had. And it wasn't the first, and it certainly wasn't the last. I think the difference between somebody who has massive success in any business or in life, and the difference between them and somebody who doesn't, is their bounce back ability, their recovery of their mojo. And if you can crack this, you are onto a winner. Life is not all roses and breezy and lovely and fantastic. Business is not all that either. We have to learn to manage these dips. So let me tell you about the first big blip that I had in my direct sales business. So back in 2009, I think it was. Yeah, 2009. We'll go 2009. Might have been a year out, but, you know, it's irrelevant. I had made leader. I made leader for the first time. I was over the moon, absolutely loving life. I had my own little team. And in that team, I had a lovely lady who also wanted to promote out as a leader. She wanted it just as much as I did. She wanted that recognition. There was a trip on offer to somewhere in Europe that we could go to together if she made leader as well. She was so excited and so driven. And I was as well. And we were both really high on the mojo. Lots and lots of mojo there. And that next few months, we worked really, really hard together, me building my team and me leading her to build her team. And she promoted out as a leader just before the trip qualification ended. And we both were awarded with this amazing trip to go away. All she had to do, and I had to do, was maintain as leader. So she had to keep her sales figures and her team active. I had to keep mine active for 2 months. That was it, 2 months. And then we could go on this amazing trip away, 5-star luxury. It was going to be phenomenal. What happened was not us going on the trip. What happened was this lady, this leader, just stopped. She stopped doing anything. She'd hit the leader level and she stopped. And for some reason, she stopped talking to me. And for some reason, she went and hid. She left her team to me. She just disappeared off the face of the planet. I think panic had set in. I think maybe she was going for the leader position just to say she'd done it. I don't know. It was a long, long time ago. And it was my first experience of something going badly wrong in my business, how I thought anyway. And I also felt sorry for her. So to cut a long story short, we didn't go on the holiday. She dropped out of the business. Somebody in her team promoted out as my next leader, which was amazing, but totally irrelevant to this story. And she went on to go and do other things, which is absolutely fantastic. Me, however, I was gutted. At the time, I was absolutely heartbroken. I couldn't understand what I'd done wrong. I didn't understand why I'd let her down so badly. Why would somebody promote out as a leader and then not carry on doing it? You know, all these thoughts were going through my head. How I must have failed massively with her. I didn't know what I was doing. This wasn't the best job for me. If I can't look after one person like that, how can I expect to look after any others? I was really down. My mojo had gone totally. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so upset for her, for me and my business, for not going on the holiday, selfishly enough. And this mojo drop lasted for some time. I just couldn't pull myself out of it. And it started to make my business suffer. I was losing sales. I was losing team sales. I was losing team members. I wasn't gaining any more team members. I wasn't looking after my customers. It was just dripping. It was all disappearing away. And I started to worry about what my business was going to look like and maybe whether I needed to find something else to do. So I sat down and thought, well, do you know what? I can go and get a proper job. Or I can work out what I'm going to do next with my business. And I sat down and I did what I'm going to tell you guys to do. And every single time that I've had a blip, I've done the same thing. Because what happened was I did this little exercise that I'm going to share with you, and I pulled myself out of this dip. I looked at what had happened and realized that it probably wasn't all my fault. It was probably circumstance. It was probably a thing that was going to happen anyway. I looked at the situation I was in with my business and thought, well, like I said, I've got two choices. I can quit or I can keep going. I can keep going for me. I can keep going for what I believe in and what I want out of life. And I can keep pushing and I can keep driving my business forward. And I have to go with a motto. And it was one of my business development managers that told me this thing. And it stayed with me since. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. I think she used a different word from next. I think it started with F. But I'm not going to go into that now. You know, it's not appropriate. However, that was the principle that I used and that she taught me. And actually, it served me well in business and in life as that one phrase. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. We cannot control what other people do. And this was a massive learning for me and helped me get my mojo back. We cannot expect people to be just like us and want what we want and do things the way that we do. We cannot read people's minds and understand why they do certain things. And actually, as long as I do my best for me and for everybody in my team and treat everybody the same and give everybody those opportunities. What they then do with that information is irrelevant. I can just be there for them to motivate and to inspire, to give them the training that they need and the support that is available to them so that they can access it and do what they want with it. So that was a massive learning for me. And that helped me get my mojo back. But the main thing that helped me get my mojo back is what I am going to teach you right now. So this is an exercise that you can do. It doesn't take particularly long. You can take as long over this as you want to. It's a really good thing to do on a regular basis and revisit quite a lot because, you know, there's lots of ups and downs in business. We have self-doubt, lack of self-belief. We have confidence dips, you know, all these things. Revisiting this each time will really, really help. Okay. So anybody that knows me knows that I am usually positive, optimistic, happy, smiley, giggly, always up for a laugh, always finding the best of a situation. When I don't feel that way, I go and sit down with a glass of wine, cup of tea, biscuit, you know, something nice, depending on the time of day. And I reflect on why I do what I do. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to sit down, beverage of choice, go to have a bath, go and take yourself away to a hotel, go and sit in the car, whatever. Go and do this exercise and sit down. Why do you do what you do? Right? Have a think about why you do what you do. What do you love about your business? And I want you to think about all those things that fill you with joy about what you do, right? Look at the positive feedback that you've had and results that you've had from people. Look at the difference you've made for customers, for people who follow you on social media. Look at the difference you've made to your team, if you have a team. Look at the impact you're having. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do it? Okay. Is it the love of the products or the service that you provide? Is it the helping people? Is it the impact that you can make or your mission? Is it the difference you're making for your family? Is it that sense of identity that this industry gives you? It was always that for me. It was so that I wasn't just Laura's mum, because that's what I felt like. I just felt like, you know, everybody knew me as Laura's mum. They didn't know my name. I wanted something for me. I wanted that sense of achievement, that sense of self. So that drove me a lot. What do you love about the flexibility, the working for yourself? Is it the money? What is it, right? So every person has different reasons for being in business and why they love business. You find yours and sit down and write it down. And that is okay. It can be different from somebody else's. It can be small. It can be personal. It can be all about you. It can be all about other people. Totally up to you. I want you to be honest, though, really honest about what it is that you love about what you do. Why do you do what you do? And the more this feels funny inside and pulls you, the better. The more passionate it makes you, the more likely you are to bring this mojo back quicker, right? So be honest, right? Have a real think about what this why is. Delve into those feelings behind that why. Those feelings, like I just said, are what are going to pull you out of your dip. Bring it to life. The stronger you're attached to your why, the more power it will have. Okay, and write it down. I used to write down why I do what I do every single day. Every single day. I still do a little bit now, not quite as much because it's kind of automated now after so many years. But if you've never done anything like this before, keep writing it down. Have a picture of it, you know, create a pretty collage or a vision board or something visible that you can revisit over and over again. Maybe put it as your screensaver on your phone. Totally your choice. And when your mojo dips, keep revisiting it. Keep taking a look at it. Keep remembering your why, reframe, and go again. And that reframe bit is another crucial bit. Reframing what has made you dip to start with will make a massive difference as well. I had that issue with a leader leaving. It was their choice to leave. They didn't want to do it anymore. That was fine. That's okay. And it took me a long time to reframe that. It was my business and I could run it how I wanted to, but I can't control what anybody else does. I can support them, I can inspire them, I can motivate them to do those things. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to do it. And the realization for that, for me, some will, some won't. So what? Next, was a real support for me. It sounds harsh, but actually, like I've said, you can't control what other people do. And if as long as I know I'm doing my best, whatever other people do, I cannot do anything about. So reframing that for me was massive. Every time I have a dip, I reframe. So recently, a similar thing happened. I promoted a course. I had this amazing course, which I thought was going to be the best thing ever. I put it out there. I launched it as best I could. I put my messaging out there to attempt to attract the right people. 2 people joined out of the thousands in the audience that I have. People just weren't interested, or there was something about it that was wrong. You know, something, the messaging was wrong, or the time was wrong. Something wasn't quite right. And I was gutted. I thought it was me. I thought people didn't want my training anymore, because we do. We always think it's us. We always think it's, you know, it's all about us. It's not. It's all about everybody else. Everybody else. Maybe the wording wasn't right for people to be attracted to it. Maybe it wasn't the right offering at the right time. Maybe it just wasn't right for my audience. But it's a learning I had to go through when I had to do this exercise again, bring my mojo back. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Reframing and looking at the fact that actually, you know, I've got great reviews from people. I'm getting massive results from people. This one thing is not the end of the world. And reframing that again helped me go back and get success afterwards. So, like I said, write a list. Why you do what you do. Get really deep. Why do you do what you do? What joy does it bring you? What passions does it bring you? And reframe. Okay. So if you want more help bringing your mojo back, whether that is through wise words, training, support, motivation, I am here for you. You can find my links below. There's all the information in the show notes. Please do get in touch and make sure you head to my Facebook group, Direct Selling Success, Support for Network Marketers, Direct Sellers, Affiliates, etc. In there every Wednesday, I go live with a mini training, insight into business, just for direct sales consultants and leaders. I would love to see you in there. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.